Following my previous discussions on the need for employees to have the right competencies to be able to perform tasks to the right standard and quality, today I want to look at it from a different perspective, where employees have the right competencies yet are unable to perform their task effectively. Now, sometimes the problem has to do with task assignment. The problem has to do with task assignment. It's important as supervisors and managers to understand how to assign tasks to employees such that they are clear on what to do and will be able to execute and then give feedback as required. You know, when it comes to task assignment, it all has to do with interactions or conversations. So through interactions and conversations, you assign tasks. If that is the case, then it's important to understand and apply the processes involved in assigning tasks and the principles underlying task assignment. Right. So let's look at this. Two things are involved. We have what is known as the interaction process, and then we have the interaction guidelines. Interaction process and interaction guidelines. So let's look at the interaction process. When you invite an employee to have interaction or conversations around task assignment, these are the steps you follow. Number one, you prepare for the conversation or the interaction. You prepare for the interaction. Number two, you have the interaction. Number three, close the interaction. And number four, agree on feedback loop with that employee. These are the steps you follow when having interactions around task assignment. Number one, prepare for the interaction or conversation, have the interaction, close the interaction, and then you feedback. This is the process. The guideline or the principles that should be applied are as follows. There is this popular one among miners, which is known as the CPQQRT. The CPQQRT. This is a methodology that is used in assigning tasks to employees. When you're having conversations around maybe KPI or target setting, you can use this. When you are assigning, normal tasks to employees to perform, you can also follow the CPQQRT methodology. It is very simple. Now let's come back to the interaction process. I said prepare for the conversation. How do you prepare to have a conversation? You prepare by reviewing the target which has been set for you and the entire team, and then know exactly what task you are assigning to the teams and the employees. Right. Now, when this is done and you have all the issues to be discussed listed on paper or in your diary, then the next thing is to move into the interaction itself, where you are discussing with the employees what your expectations are. Now, when it comes to the task assignment itself, always set context for the employees. Set context. Then state clearly what the purpose for that task is all about. Indicate in your conversation with the employee the quantity of work output you expect. Then also discuss the quality of work you expect. Discuss the resources needed for employees to perform the task effectively. Then agree on the timelines. Agree on when the task should be completed and when feedback should be given. So it's important to understand the methodology CPQQRT, which is what is used in assigning tasks to employees. If employees understand the context within which that small task is going to be performed, they are engaged, they are aligned, and so they'll be able to perform the task effectively. If the employees understand the purpose for which that task should be completed, they go in there, they are clear in their minds what they are expected to do. Then, of course, if they are clear on the quality, the quantity and quality of the task output, they go in there, they know exactly the resources that is required, and they know the time frame within which to give you feedback. As a supervisor, as a manager, it is important to understand this deep fundamental principle to be able to assign tasks effectively. Then the next one is, once the conversation is ongoing, it is important to also check for understanding. Check for understanding. Check if the employee really understands the task that you are assigning to him, and then you check for achievability. Check if the employee has the capability to achieve the task that has been assigned to him. If you check for understanding, you would know whether the employee is confused or not. Then you come in to clarify. Then you check for achievability. If the employee has challenges with achieving the task or performing the task to the right standard, then of course, as a supervisor, you can support, or as a manager, you can then support the employee. The employee could probably have challenges with the resources that are available, and then you come in to provide the right resources. So it's important as supervisors, managers, and leaders to understand the interaction process that should be followed in assigning tasks, and then also understand the interaction, the principles, and then the concept and guidelines that should be followed in assigning tasks. Once you do this, the entire team will achieve their set target, the department will win, and the entire organization will grow.